All right, we're back. We had another 1/4 inch of rain last night, at least at my house. So, you know, water, water, water. On the upside, this corn was a lot drier than I thought. I was figuring it was going to be like 21, 22. It was 19.7. And that first load was going to be all the outside stuff, so the inside should technically be drier. So that was a pleasant surprise. Test weight was 54.6, so not too bad for being that wet. Actually, it's pretty good for being that wet. So anyhow, hopefully at least get this field done. I'm hoping, I brought Dad's truck because it's bigger. I'm hoping that this will all fit in there, so I don't want to come back for a little piddly load. And then I want to go get my grandma's little 2-acre piece. That should be 1 truckload. And then, ooh, there's more out here than I thought. I don't think this is all going to fit in Dad. It might. It'll be close. But I want to get this done. Go get the little 2-acre piece at my grandma brewer's. By the time we get done doing all the shuffling and whatnot, they'll probably be done taking corn for the day because they're shutting down at noon because the dryer will be full again. And oh wait, that's not my corn. Okay, okay, there's not as much here. I was like, I picked all the long rows off over there. That's the other cornfield. And you think this field is wet? That half over that, I guess that would be like 3/4 over there on the other side of the property line, makes this look like a cakewalk. But anyhow, we'll get this thing warming up real quick and then I will finish the introductory speech here. Oh, key, hold on. Let me get this thing fired up. She's a little angry this morning. Perking things. But anyhow, so my corn was 19.7, and I stopped into the office down there after I got unloaded, and I wanted to confirm that they were indeed closing at noon today for wet corn, and talked to Ryan. I guess he's the manager of the actual elevator side of it, if that would be his official job title, I think. I don't think he's actually, I guess you call him like the site manager, maybe something like that. But anyhow, I guess that corn is the driest they've seen straight out of the field with the best test weight. I guess everything that they've been getting in has been averaging about 28, 29. That's average, so they're getting stuff in that's north of 30. And basically the problem they're having is the corn's so wet and the combines are grinding it up so bad, because when the corn's that wet, the kernels are still soft. So even if you're running a slower cylinder speed and you tighten your concave up a little bit, even with the corn on corn rubbing action, the kernels will basically press on each other and they'll explode, kind of like a hot dog in a microwave, and the ends will just boom. So they've been getting so many fines with all this wet corn, because it's all ground up like feed, that it's actually been plugging the screens on their dryer, so their dryer's not forcing any air, so they're losing efficiency, so their dryer just physically can't keep up. Not to mention, I guess, well, obviously they have a barometer and humidity and all that crap down there for the dryer, and the average humidity down there around the dryer has been averaging 90%. So they're trying to dry wet corn with wet air, so they just can't. And that's, I mean, you've seen it. That's a pretty decent sized tower dryer. I bet the dryer itself holds 3,500, 4,000 bushel of corn just sitting there like a bin. So, and basically it sounds like they're not open tomorrow to take any loads, but it's supposed to rain tomorrow anyhow, so that doesn't matter. But I guess tomorrow a couple of them are going to go in and run the dryer all day and try to get the wet bin cleaned out and clean the dryer up and try to get all the fines and stuff out of it. And I guess Monday they're gonna start running at 24 hours to try to keep up, because this is bad. I mean, there's guys, it's to the point where even guys with on-farm drying systems, the on-farm drying systems can't keep up. So if they want to keep harvest rolling along, they have to run until their farm system is full. And then if they want to keep running past that, then they got to start hauling in wet loads to the elevator in order to keep harvest rolling along. And at this point, if this area is at, I don't even know if we've hit 15% complete. I mean, there is still, you drive by and there's more crops in the field than out. I mean, there's no way there's no way in hell we're even a quarter way done around here. This is terrible. So, but anyhow, that's the update. So let that thing warm up for another minute or two, and we'll go back to playing in the mud. tell you what, that last little bit did not come without a fight. We really could have went without that extra bit of rain last night. There's a spot down here. I should have took video because I was nervous. I was very nervous. I was technically stuck for a minute, but with a little bit of patience and a whole lot of luck. Well, first there was this spot. This spot made me really nervous, but it didn't take me very long to get out of it. I never actually stopped moving. And you know the stupid thing is, there is never a wet spot here. Never. I can walk you to where every single wet spot is in every single one of my fields. This has never been a wet spot. There's always been one right up there by where the combine's sitting, a little one. And then there's always these these rows in back here behind the house have always been wet. Those are the two spots where I always expect this field to be wet. Never all the way across here, and never right here. This spot made me, I was puckering a little bit. At one point in this one, I did quit moving. How it walked out, I have no clue. But with a little bit of back and forth. And actually, if you see right here, I was actually bottoming out. So it was slithering around on its belly right here. And naturally, I had pulled in and was heading uphill, and it wouldn't back out. Oh, it made me nervous. And I knocked down some corn, but not a lot. Unfortunately, when that happens, sometimes that's what you got to do. I just shut the combine off because I knew it was going to be a problem, and you just take your hands off the steering wheel, and whatever direction that machine decides it wants to go, you let it go in that direction, because that's the only way you're getting out. But anyhow, with that being said, I think I'm going to skip going to my grandma's today. That field has several wet spots in it, and there's not a whole lot of room to maneuver. So I think I'm better off to go over to Mom and Dad's where there's tile and work on that. So let's get this load hauled in, and then I gotta go get my truck empty, and we'll see where we're at. Contract. Yep. Gotta do something that's not in my nap. 20.7 on that one. And the test weight dropped a little bit, down to 53. But the damage was down, so that's good. Alright, all 3 loads are hauled in off of that field. That field is done. Check one off the list. Elevator's done taking corn for the day. So kind of takes a sense of urgency out of getting anything. So what time is it anyhow? 12 o'clock. So probably to go ahead and grab lunch real quick and have Dad run me to get the combine. We'll come back and get this field opened up, and that'll probably about be the day. Oh, and before I forget, the friends of ours that had the dryer fire, it's a 30-foot bin with a Shivvers drying floor in it, and when it caught on fire, it warped all of the standoffs and most of the floor planks. And naturally, Shivvers had to use a bunch of bastard sized stuff, so their floor planks are wider than everybody else's, and their standoffs are shorter. So in order for it to work with the floor sweep and all that yada yada yada, it's damn near gotta be, without some modification to stock bin parts, it's almost gotta be a Shivvers floor. And they've called basically every Shivvers dealer, including some guys that aren't even, including some guys that are retired, within like 3 states, trying to find a floor. And basically the answer they keep getting is 6 to 8 months to get parts and possibly a year to get labor. So, which they have no problem putting in themselves, that's just what they keep getting told. So if there's anybody out there that watches this that knows where there is a 30-foot, or they could even take a bigger one and cut it down to fit, but a 30-foot or bigger Shivvers drying, they just need the floor and the standoffs. They don't need the whole system. But if there's anybody out, then they'd probably buy a whole system if it got them parts. But if there's anybody out there who's got a Shivvers floor for a 30-foot or bigger bin, let me know, because I'm trying to help these guys out, and there's a fairly large amount of you that watch this that might have more feelers than what we got. So if there's anybody out there who knows where there's a Shivvers drying floor, I'll put my email down below. Let me know. I'm trying to help these guys out. All right. See if we can get this field opened up today at least. Peter wanted to walk around a bit, so we're gonna have the pole saw and knock them limbs off. It's gonna make life a little easier. Okay, that's better. We'll get done shelling and I'm bringing the tractor and the limb chipper up here and chip it off into the field so that it disappears. now got nowhere to take them. Would have been nice if they'd have taken corn all day, because if I could have at least got these two hauled in and brought back empty, we could have got this field done, because this field's generally good for about 4 loads. This front section should be about a load, and then the back section should be about a load-ish. But the moisture on this field's going to be a little bit all over the board, because there are some pretty good sections of it that didn't come up until we started getting rain, and it's fairly blatantly obvious where those spots are, although I don't know if you'll be able to see them from the ground or not, because it's a whole lot easier to tell from the combine. But look at the color of these stalks right here, how they're kind of brownish, and a fair bit of the leaves are really droopy. And then if we come down here to the low spot, I don't know if it's going to be able to show up or not. The corn loses that dark brown cut. Yeah, yep, you can see right here. See how the corn starts getting more yellow in it because it was greener. Yeah, especially this stuff right here is pretty obvious. And the leaves aren't nearly, yep, right in here. See how it gets that bright yellow color? Because this stuff stayed greener longer because it came up later. There's a big section down here, the back hill, because the stuff down here up in front and kind of wraps around toward the hill, and then kind of off the back side of the hill over there, that stuff all came up almost right away. And then this low ground here and the hillside back there, that came up about 6 weeks later, when we finally got our first rain after the drought. So that's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. But we're pretty much par for the course this year, because if you think about it, I think, if I remember right, I have to go back and look. I think I finished up planting on May 29th. I think that was my last day. So if I remember right, that's the earliest I'd ever got done completely planting. And there was corn at May 29th that had already been in the ground 2.5 weeks and still hadn't come out of the ground because it hadn't seen any water. And then after May 29th, it was still another 2.5 weeks until we saw our first rain. So you're into the second week of June before a lot of corn around here, and beans for that matter, even popped up out of the ground. So for all intents and purposes, you had corn that thought it was basically planted the second week of June. So if that would be a normal time frame, basically our growing season, because of that drought, for all intents got pushed back about 5.5–6 weeks. So by all rights, if the entire timeline got shifted, if everything would have had the full normal growing season, November, about the second weekend in November would technically be the equivalent to about the first weekend of October, like we normally would be starting to harvest. Apparently Dad wants something. So anyhow, not only did we have the drought to worry about that shifted our entire growing season by 1.5 months, right smack in the middle, we had all that wildfire smoke coming out of Canada that lasted for, I don't know, depending on where you were at, 2.5–3 weeks, some places even more than that. So when that stuff was over and was at its worst, we kind of lost a lot of sunlight, 'cause I mean, at points that stuff was so thick you could walk outside and you knew it was daylight. I mean, basically it looked like this outside, except imagine that cloud cover haze like down really low. So I mean, you walked outside, you knew it was supposed to be daylight, but there wasn't actually any sunlight. So that kind of pushed everything back. But how do you even measure the effects that had, because that's really never happened before? So we'll never really know what kind of effect that had on everything. So that pushed everything back. And then we didn't really have an overly warm summer. Like, no, I mean, normally we have a lot of 80, 85, 90 degree days around here. And this year, although it made it really nice for, you know, being a human being and living in it, we didn't have a whole lot of days over 80 degrees. A lot of our summer was mid 70s. So we didn't really have the heat units to push everything along like it should have. So it's just one thing added on top of another, on top of another, on top of another, and now it won't stop raining. So it's been an interesting year. That's definitely for certain, and it ain't over yet. So, but anyhow, get the trucks put away. I'm gonna drop the head off the combine, grab the 6-row, take that over to my house so that it's out of here, and put the combine away for the day, because it's supposed to rain tomorrow. And if I can't pick tomorrow because the trucks are full anyhow, there ain't no sense in it sitting in the rain, so I'll just take it home, put it in the barn. Then we can come back here Monday and finish this up when it's not raining. And that'll pretty much be a day. And tomorrow I'll probably take care of them limbs that I cut down. So I was gonna do it today, but I might run out of daylight before it gets to that point. So anyhow, I think that's all I got for you. So at least there's no mud out here. Tile worth every damn penny. So with that being said, I guess that's it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one.